Yep.
Camera, I'm recording.
Kevin, I don't ever want.
Why are you recording?
Kevin, I asked Anne, when did she first know that she was in love?
I'm gonna say the first second that we met.
And the crowd cracks up.
When they brought Ivy home from the airport.
That's like a year later. Thanks, man.
So you think it was love at first sight?
I hope.
Does that go in line with your? I remember you saying you were worried that she was going to meet some other guy. Like,
yeah.
So obviously back then you didn't think that was the case.
Well, I knew when I first met her that, like, I wanted her, and I was hoping that we were gonna remain.
You knew from the very moment, right?
I knew, but I also was realistic to life, how things happen, and so I just had to, be realistic. But I knew as soon as I saw her and I looked at her and she was like smiling, like,
The smile.
yeah. I was like, wow, like she's the one, like she's amazing. That's
So
my answer.
her answer was within 3 weeks.
Within 3 weeks.
After 3 weeks. Yeah,
That still counts. It's pretty close.
That is pretty close.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
It's
And
like-
she actually described a very specific moment, the White Album Christmas, when you guys. She described a moment when you were in line together, and so you were like cuddling and close, and somebody behind you said, "You guys make such a cute couple. How long have you been together?" And you were both like 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Did I go with you to that?
You were there.
How
He
was
was there. He was there.
Oh my god.
So we were like, 2 weeks, 6 days, 23 hours, and 59 seconds off, but it was close.
God.
That's pretty close. She said you were both like over the top, over the moon, I think.
Nice. Very close.
All right, can we get a round of applause for gross? Oh my God, love is disgusting. Yes.
Was there another?
Yes. This is one that I just asked because I wanted to know, or it was kind of along the lines of what I would ask. Do you know how many, she has a goal for how many books she wants to read this year. Do you know how many books it is?
20 books.
Do you know how many books she has read so far this year? Count them up.
She wants to read 20 books a year. I'm going to guess right now she's read 9 books this year.
He got the 20 right on. That's her goal. 20 books. She's read 12. She actually texted me back. She said, "I've read 4,395 pages."
So why don't you ask that question to me? Ready? Here's my question. I've read 1 book this year, and my goal was actually 0 books. So I'm actually way ahead.
Woo! Over underachiever! Yay! Over underachiever! 1 clap right there. Thanks. Okay.
I have one more question. It's a two-parter. I asked her how many kids does she want to have. How many kids? And then the second part was how many kids does she think you want to have?
5.
That's my eyeball. Remember, moving it a lot will be a really shitty viewing tomorrow. But I want to have 1 or 2.
That's two answers.
1.5.
2.5. That's the average.
1.5. Don't worry, you have 1. The next one will cut in half.
I want to have up to 2.
Sort of.
And now the question was for her, how many kids does she want to have?
She wants to have 2. Bingo.
Final answer?
Yes.
She said definitely 1. Definitely 1, and we'll see from there.
That's my
And
response.
her question about her thoughts on Kevin was, well, he always says kids, plural. And she's like, I think 2.
Okay.
Okay. That's accurate.
What I'm gonna-
1.5 is kids.
that's
right?
What
Yeah.
I'm going to give a spontaneous to this right now since we got it on video. I'm going to,
What is wrong?
on spontaneity, give a first moment of meeting each one of you.
Oh.
Shit, here we go.
All right.
Wow.
See if it's accurate.
I know. So, Carl and I were hanging out on 24th and Ankeny, and you were coming down the stairs, and Carl's like, "This is my buddy Eric." Oh, there's Eric. I was coming down, I mean, like, I'm sure it might have been a few minutes, hours earlier, but we were walking down from a house party down a hill in the Northwest 20-something, and me, you, and Ren were walking down a hill, and then me and Ren were like hanging out, like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then we were hanging out, and then I went to Smith Rock, and I saw this dude let the car door open, or a trunk open. I'm like, somebody let this car door open. Who could that be? And me and Janine were like hiking up, and then I saw you and Kelly. They're hiking the Smith Rock face, or hiking it and climbing it, and it ended up being yours door that was left open
For 6 hours.
for 6 hours, and I think I shut it. James, I remember we were looking for the most amazing keyboard player for the Sincerely's, and then out came James coming to the first day and throwing down some beautiful licks. And there came James. And then my introduction into Portland, I was coming from Los Angeles, phone interviewing with this cool guy named Duke, cute little Asian dude. And then I walk in, and then was introduced to Dan, and we were communicating back and forth. And my very first introduction to Portland was Dan. And James, my first introduction to James was Janine and I went to this really cool house party where they had a Family Feud theme. And so there's two families of just made up of friends that gathered on the spot. And James was at the family. I don't know if you were the family or the host. I was
the family. I was part of the family. We were part of the, like, I forget what our name was, but we were basically Hicks, and we all dressed.
Yes.
We all dressed in suspenders and shit, and yeah, it was pretty fun.
Which is weird, by the way, because from Los Angeles there's no theme parties, and I'm introduced all of a sudden to a theme party, going to a Family Feud theme party, and it was like within like a month of living with you, I went to a Family Feud party. I remember Peter. I remember Robin Jackson was just like, dude, Robin Jackson and Ren and James, I believe, was like, I'm playing with this team called Discos, and we're all pink, and I know you're on your own Ultimate Frisbee team, but you got to join our Frisbee team because we're rad and we're great. And I was like, let me check it out. And so I went, and then we totally met Peter, and he was rad. And then back in Los Angeles, we did pre-Portland. I remember my first introduction was my buddy Little Jimmy and I. We went to this really cool house party at his house off of Redondo or Huntington Beach, Redondo Beach, and there was this cool house party and this huge mound of king crab legs, which was huge. And I'm like, there's a car squeaking on by, and I was like, where did this king crab go? And then Rich is like, oh, this is my appetizer, delectability for. And so he had this great king crab collection of food, and one of my earliest friends from Los Angeles that has moved to Portland, which, by the way, he's bringing a huge amount of king crab legs to the wedding party. So we are all going to get to enjoy.
Nice.
My introduction into Daniel was, we were at a singer-songwriter story.
It's true.
And I remember Dan was singing, playing, and he was just like, he's like, hey, anyone that wants to continue recording music, I love doing sound engineer stuff, or something to that nature.
It's true.
And very true. And then I remember Daniel's like, he was just like, come speak to me. And so I went to him, and then I came to him, and then I had a moment of not even playing music for quite a while, and then his lovely soul brought me back into music, and he recorded, and he actually helped me with my Kev Diddy project, threw down some lovely bass and lovely harmonies, and I'm ever thankful for getting me back.
He's very grateful for
getting me back into music. Thank you very much. And then one day, I remember meeting this amazingly tall dude, and I was just like, I have to meet this guy. And we were playing on the discos, and he's like, you like to throw deep, I like to run deep. I've got an idea. We need to connect on this field. And then we had so my first introduction to him was, I believe, on the field, and we just immediately smiled with each other and laughed and had some great connections. And my first memory was just kind of like throwing deep to you and catching and having a great connection. We've had a lovely connection. So.
All these Indian belly dancers.
And all these Indian belly dancers. And then who am I missing?
Jeremy.
Jeremy. Oh, and then sorry. And then Jeremy, from what I remember. And so I was playing in the Sincerely's, throwing down some bass, and there was the friend of the rest of the Sincerely's, aside from me, because they were all from the Oakland Bay Area, and Jeremy knew these people, and and I've heard his bass playing before, and he was amazing, and then he comes down. And then I was like, I remember my first introduction was like, oh, I've heard of this guy, he's a great bass player. I'm starting to get a little jealous of this guy on the bass because he's coming. I hope he's not coming to take my spot. But that really wasn't the case for at least a few months. And then